John Nash 2, Graphing in the Coordinate Plane. Most of the vocabulary for this section is going to be a review. And we're going to kind of take it and put it together with things that we've learned before and kind of make hopefully a little bit of sense about why we're learning this information. So the vocabulary is all written out, and this time I'm going to underline, and you can either highlight or underline the words that I am drawing attention to. So let's start with function table, a table that uses a rule to manipulate the input and reach the output. Okay, so you are very familiar with this. This is where we plug in a number and get an answer. So the function is actually the rule. The function is the rule that gives directions for the input and how to get the output. This is the story. This is the thing that's happening that creates a little rule or a little sequence of events. Okay? So you times this by this or you subtract this. That's the function. Graphing, of course, is plotting points on a coordinate plane, which we learned about the last unit. We labeled them and we learned how to plot points. Sometimes it creates a line. We're going to see more lines this time. Sometimes it creates a series of points. So we're going to get a little bit more detailed with the lines and the scatter plots, which is the next vocabulary word. A scatter plot is a bunch of points. They do not form a line usually, but they do form what's called a correlation. Correlation means that they're kind of connected, and they can be connected in a positive way or a negative way. And we're going to see more of that, more examples of that. Sometimes there is no correlation. If there is no correlation, then that's what we say. Okay, so back to the explanation. A function table produces a series of x and y values. This is the input and the output. The function rule decides what is happening to the numbers. When we graph these x and y values, we get a line or we get a scatter plot, which is a visual of what we had in the table and of the rule. When your input is negative, be careful. You have to make sure you use parentheses because that's going to help you keep the negative numbers separate. All right, so here's a visual. This is a scatter plot right here. Do you see how they're scattered? Just like the word. And if you see, they go up, which means that it is a positive correlation. Okay? If they were going down, it would be obviously negative. This is a line graph because it has dots, and those dots or points form a line when you connect them. If you tried to connect these, you would go like all over the place and it would not form a line. It does form a general direction, but this actually forms an actual line. So that's the difference between a scatter plot and a line graph. So here's an example of a function table with a function rule we need to find, and then a graph that we need to use to graph the rule. Devontae gets paid $5.50 an hour. Okay, this is his pay. What is a function rule for this situation? Create a table and graph the coordinate pairs. Okay, so X is the number of hours he works. Y is his pay. So let's go ahead and fill in X. We can pick the numbers for this. I'm going to pick 1, 2, 3, and 4. He worked for 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, and 4 hours. Not terribly difficult. So my rule is actually going to be 550 X because I times 550 by each hour that he works, and that gives me my Y value. So this is 550. This would be 11. Add 550 onto 11, I get 1650. Add another 550 onto that, add 50 and I get 17, add 5 and I get 22. So if he works for 4 hours, he gets $22. Now I'm going to graph these. Are they a little challenging? Yes, because 550 is a little difficult to graph, but we can do it. 1 is X and 550 is Y. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it kind of goes in the middle of the 5. Basically there. Basically there. Okay? So I'm going to erase that first one because that wasn't right. And let me try that one again. Basically, we go up to about there. All right. So if you do 2, then I'm going to go up to 11. Well, I'm going to end up kind of running out of room on this graph. So I'm going to sort of give it a bit of a estimated line. It's obviously going to keep going up every time he works another hour. All right, let's look at a different example. A gym membership charges a one-time $15 enrollment fee and $25 a month. What is the function rule for this situation? Create a table and graph the coordinate pairs. X is the number of months, Y is the total fee. So let's do 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months. 1 month would be a $15 enrollment fee, which would be 15x, and then we would add, no, the $15 enrollment fee is only one time, and it's $25 a month. So the 25 is here, and that's times the x, and then we add the 15 extra. So what's 25 times x? 25 plus 15 is 40. The first month you pay 40. If you do 2 months, you're only going to pay this enrollment fee once, but you're going to pay the monthly fee twice. So that's 50 plus 15 is 65. 3 times 25 is 75 plus 15 is 80. Nope, is 90. Come on, math teacher. This one is, I'm erasing it all. All right, let's try again. First one is 40. Second one is 65. Third one is 90. I can just add 25 each time I go. The next one is 115. The next one is 130. Okay, so I'd have to graph these, which of course would be a little challenging, but you can jump by 5s. So 1, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. No, I think we'd have to jump by 10s. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the first one. And then 2 would be 65, so 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 65. So 2 would be like here. 3 would be 90, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, which is here. So we can kind of see that the graph would be going up this way. Let me make it a little bit closer to what we had. Yep. Okay. So there we go. We have a story. We came up with a rule. We graphed it. And it's all the big picture. This is a scatter plot. A scatter plot would be all those little points would be plotted, but then they wouldn't form a line. They would just form a scatter plot. Would this scatter plot be positive, negative, or no correlation? Well, it does look like these points are all kind of going down. So we're going to say this is a negative scatter plot. All right, you have some to practice with. You have 2 scatter plots to look at, and then you have a story to try to write the rule and put in the rule and graph it. Put in the function table and graph it. Good luck.